Modern Christian theists build up a superhero named Jesus. Modern atheists tear down a clueless preacher, also named Jesus. Both atheists and theists use literal interpretations of the modern Bible. But Jesus was neither superhero nor clueless preacher. If indeed there is a contiguous line of thought in the anonymous, embellished ancient writings, what is it? In this video, we are looking at what the ancient writer depicted the ancient speaker to have said about anxiety. Just as with the last video, we keep the ancient writing in order, and the ancient speaker continuing his line of thought. For his listeners, known as people of the way, it's all about the shift from outwardly striving to being in the way. The speaker addresses one's anxiety toward adopting the way. For this reason, he says, I say to you, do not be anxious for your life as to what you shall eat or what you shall drink, nor for your body as to what you shall put on. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothing? Look at the birds of the air, that they do not sow, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, and yet theists in heaven feed them. Are you not worth much more than they? And which of you, by being anxious, can add a single cubit to your lifespan? And why are you anxious about clothing? Observe how the lilies of the field grow. They do not toil, nor do they spin. Yet I say to you that even Solomon in all his glory did not clothe himself like one of these. But if theists so arrange the grass of the field, which is alive today, and tomorrow is thrown into the furnace, will theists not much more do so for you? O you of little faith! Do not be anxious then, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or with what shall we clothe ourselves? For all these things the Gentiles eagerly seek, for Theos in heaven knows that you need all these things. But seek first Theos' kingdom and Theos' righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. Therefore do not be anxious for tomorrow will care for itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. In the last video, we saw the ancient speaker advising his listeners to cease striving for outward treasure and to instead concentrate on the treasure within. The ancient writer has Jesus saying for this reason, referring back to the inward treasure addressed in the few sentences that precede it. For the reason of successfully adopting inward treasure, the speaker continues his advice by addressing the reluctance to being in the way. The writer has the speaker continuing with a choice between quietly serving an inward journey and serving a well-dressed, well-fed, lucrative reputation in society. He addresses why his listeners lose their bearing, what persuades them to strive toward being seen and heard. So the writer has the speaker advising not to be anxious about life. That's all, nothing more. Religion teaches, strongly implies, and sometimes blatantly states adherence to religion brings God's favor. What we might refer to as prosperity theology. Yet turning to the subject of angst, the writer has the speaker speak to what causes a break from being in the way. Religion expresses the results of faith in terms of tangible gain, having enough to pay the bills, finding the right job, good health, and other visible manifestations of prosperity and abundance. The Bible is full of this sort of teaching. Just believe and be tangibly blessed. For the sake of an outward religious reputation, religion has taught for millenniums spiritual pride. Who are you better than? Abundance from supernatural belief, holy righteousness, defending the faith even with a fist raised, holy laughter at clueless unbelievers, and the segregation of relationships based on who believes what. Consequently, much of religious society thinks of faith that we will receive the tangible gain we want, rarely in terms of contentment from giving the intangibles of humility, gentleness, and peace by our attitude. Considering the speaker's opening principles, expressed less than 10 minutes earlier, one might consider, I need not worry, that by laying aside my pride, others will see me as spiritually bankrupt. By mourning my own condition, others will see me as flawed. By giving gentleness in relationships, others see me as weak. By admitting to my own struggle to know what is right, I admit others may be right after all. By not responding in kind, I become vulnerable. By pure motives toward others, I will lose my advantage. By making peace between my friends, they might leave me out. Followers of the way have natural hope. They have goals and dreams like everyone else. Neither atheist nor theist seems to understand this. The theist sees supernatural provision. The atheist sees Jesus as teaching others to give up on life. In less than 10 minutes of a contiguous line of thought, it seems more likely the ancient speaker taught an inward journey that yields contentment while taking life as it comes in community with others. In the next video, we will be looking at the ancient writer's depiction of a dangerous attitude called judgment.